During a surgical experiment, the professor ended up assisting his African-American assistant, a scene that left all his white colleagues bewildered. The procedure was extremely challenging, and the professor struggled to see the fine details. Yet Thomas could perform the steps expertly even with his eyes closed. After a series of complex and delicate sutures, the professor finally detected blood flow reaching the lungs. The new suturing technique was a success. The blue-tinged baby now had a glimmer of hope. However, when the professor called for surgical assistance, the top doctors all avoided his gaze. Only Dr. Longmuir, who had witnessed Thomas's skill, was willing to take the risk and join. Even the dean advised him to postpone the surgery to gain more experience, warning that a failure could destroy his decades-long reputation. But the professor firmly refused to delay. On the day of the surgery, with the professor as the lead surgeon, many medical luminaries gathered to observe this unprecedented heart operation. Thomas, however, being black, was stopped at the door. As the surgery began, the professor grew unusually nervous and hesitated to make the first incision. Unable to tolerate the situation any longer, he broke the rules and over the loudspeaker announced, "Get Thomas to the operating room now." Finally, under astonished stares and widespread murmuring, Johns Hopkins Hospital welcomed its first African-American into the operating theater. With Thomas assisting, the professor gradually regained his composure, and the surgery progressed smoothly. But then a nurse accidentally bumped into the operating lamp. At such a critical moment, any mistake could be fatal. The professor remained calm and continued steadily. When the baby's blood pressure dropped below 60, the most crucial step began. The professor asked a nurse to hand him Thomas's homemade vascular clamp, used to connect the shunt vessel. As time ticked by, the professor methodically completed the procedure. With Thomas's calm guidance, the final suturing was successfully finished. As everyone waited anxiously, the baby's complexion gradually returned to normal. The first successful heart surgery in human history was complete. Once more, the professor received acclaim. For years, Thomas had worked by the professor's side, providing crucial assistance countless times. Yet all the recognition shone on the professor alone. Thomas didn't even hold an official doctor's title. Anyone in his position would have found it hard to accept. He quietly attended the professor's award ceremony, and as the professor thanked one colleague after another without mentioning Thomas, the deep disappointment was something only he could understand. Disheartened, Thomas decided to leave. The professor was puzzled until Thomas confessed he had heard the speech. But in that era of extreme injustice, there was little the professor could do. Keeping Thomas by his side for so many years was already a feat, yet Thomas still chose to depart.